Hi, everyone, and welcome to the reading of 826CHI's newest chapbook, Rising Shadows by the Teen Writers Studio.
826CHI is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting students ages 6 to 18 with their creative and expository writing skills. Today, we'll be hearing from 826's Teen Writing Studio. I personally and Joelle are both a part of Teen Writers Studio, along with the people who are about to present, and we are very excited for you to hear what we have to say. This year's Teen Writers Studio has been collectively working on their very own book titled Rising Shadows.
So our book, Rising Shadows, is a deep dive exploration on the theme historical selves, which is a term derived from Claudia Rankine's Citizen. In this collection, writing takes the form of letters to family members, personal histories, stories of imagined futures, and much more. We explore our past as writers to better understand our future, and that's kind of the theme of this book, and we're super excited to share our pieces with you.
Hi, my name is Bella Figueroa, and this is an excerpt from my piece called Worship. Allie gets off clean. Some guy had accused her of only liking guys to impress. Wait. This is Worship. Allie gets off clean. Some guy had accused her of only liking heroes to impress guys. She'd punched him. Of course. Their parents watch, disappointed murmurs circulating around the dinner table. Nothing more, nothing less. Jay glares, gripping their phone. The one that got taken away for the exact same reason. The one that got taken away because they're not supposed to get into fights anymore. The one that they need to escape this place. It's okay if it's Allie, though, because of course. The Given remind them of thieves, of rebels without a cause, of revolution incarnate. The crowd is made up to 30 to 40 kids, all painted with shades of melanin in life. They're rowdy, loud. Someone starts to chant, "One of us, one of us, one of us," accompanied by rhythmic jumping and fist pumps. The first kid gets on stage, a slightly raised platform painted black with a single megaphone. He introduces himself as Nasir and says that this song is for a special jackass here tonight. Nasir then performs a song containing of mostly screaming, cussing, and uncreative disses. The crowd roars with laughter. After the performance, a girl comes storming through the room, somewhere between shadows and knives, hair strung up with braids and gold beads. "Where is Nasir?" she demands. Jay makes a face. "How should I know?" She growls. "Just tell him he's banned from performing next time." This is where the Given were first formed. I found it after running for my life. Giver's voice bounces from wall to wall, ricocheting off rafters and prayers. They swallow, ice scraping along the angry scar over Giver's eye. "What were you running from?" He seems amused by this, eyes glinting. "The truth," Giver says. "The truth." "Truth is subjective," Jay mutters. "Truth," Giver chides, "is absolute. It is harsh. It is indiscriminate." He sighs, pressing his hands forward. The truth of the matter was that my hard work didn't matter. My loyalty didn't matter. I was an intelligence officer, you see, a damn good one at that, too. I had my powers, my mindscapes. When my superior found out, they tried to kill me. They betrayed me, even though I found other people like us for them. They still killed me. They still scarred me. And I vowed that it would never happen again. The man meets Jay's eyes, the color of smoke and mirrors. It won't happen again.
Hi, my name is Isabella Hansen, and I'm going to be reading my poem, Finger Paintings. I want nothing more than to rinse my hands in childhood, so that when I look at them again, my fingers are covered with paint and my palms are scraped. I dipped my world in primary colors, where the sky was the deepest blue and the grass was never dead. I want to draw on the walls again, where every inch of blank space was another canvas for me. I want to close my eyes so that when I open them again, I'm back in that sunny room that I grew up in. There's a crystal hanging from the windows that reflected rainbows across the room. The colors don't shine as brightly anymore, but on some nights I dream of that room, and the colors look just as vivid as they did then. I want to run barefoot through the grass, dirt between my toes, stains on my knees. I want to float again, like how I did then, before my shoulders grew sore from long years, and I would like to dance the way I danced before I cared who was watching me. And my next poem is called Seasons. I was born in the spring. I was born in the spring, specifically the third day. I was born 5 days too late, predicted to be born in late winter. I do think that was Earth's first sign to me. I grew with the plants as they blossomed and the days as they lengthened. I grew up in the summer where the heat from my home and the winter, I grew up in the summer where the heat was my home. And even though it's wintry now, I feel most at peace, drenched in sweat, those hot, muggy days, they're inescapable. Thank you.
Phenomenal. I'm Antonio Padilla, and I'm reading Cathedral. So let me put this up. Cathedral. I walk down the stairs from the front entrance of the school. One thing that always appalls me is how humans can make such huge, wild things. How people make skyscrapers above clouds, bridges that stretch from one great lake to another, huge dams, horses that look like they're going to fall on its side. So I've always wondered how all these metal stairs and scaffolding buildings from building to building, yards in the air, carry huge amounts of people, almost as if a huge crowd walking down crosswalk, green light in a noisy, chaotic downtown area were created. It's pretty much like one big network of connecting fire escapes. So people will even get back home with these platforms, connecting to their apartment buildings. Being the classy man I am, I just walk home. Being extra cautious, not to step on cracks, because why not? I finally got to the corner of the street, waiting for a stoplight. So let me pass all these metal bulls, at least from what these cars sound like, without getting rammed and horned. It's extremely hard to not look through the glass of each car to see what type of person there is. It's extremely hard to not look through the glass, holding hands, looking across the street. With a smile, possibly from the joy of his daughter, they speed walk across to get on the other side. His steps weren't that genuine. He was looking back at his daughter, rushing, teasing away to make it look like a contest. My heart warms a bit, just from how friendly he is. I absolutely love playing around with children. His pocket vibrates a bit, to the point where you can see the circle logo of his belt shake. His face paused for a bit, in what looked like a concealed shock to a frown, as he pulled out his low-hanging phone. Obviously, he didn't want to curse in front of the child, but it was pretty obvious he was hiding in a storm. The little girl, curious and worried again, looked up at him. The father shrugged it off in frustration. Both of them looked at each other in disappointment. They both went back in the direction they originally came from. I can only imagine what they could have said. But that's not surprising when we have so many cameras watching each corner, just like the one hanging above me. I would have imagined their conversation being fabricated as the supposed person behind the cameras. His eyes focus on a constant notification alarming him on all his fines and law breaking, jaywalking strictly prohibited. I would imagine the text would say, and may put you all in danger. Dangerous person may face serious fines, arrest, or separation from those around them. Consequence, negative $100. For all I know, the father could have just gone to get his girl an ice cream, a birthday present, medical treatment, etc. I'm sure the lights behind me already went green a couple of times, but my mind was completely oblique. That's one of the reasons I don't respect people in the city who say it's for our own good. Of course, you might hurt yourself, so to prevent that, we need to do it for you first. I said to myself sarcastically. I would describe these type of people as constantly grinning, but has a serious positive connotation to others. To me, a grin sounds more like a sinister smile or a staunch frown. Lucky enough, at least, it wasn't one of those vices that alerted all our phones. I'm pretty sure these type of notifications were once used to help rescue people, but now it's been used to repel us from going from one another. All thanks to this opaque black glass hiding its patrolling eyes. I don't think they're a person.
That was wonderful. I am now going to read a piece from The Rising Shadows called Little Old Me. It's a personal essay. My parents met due to their forced living situations, neighbors. It's highly cliche, and when I hear the stories, it reminds me of a terrible sitcom. I get this feeling that I remember that apartment. The first 3 months of my life maybe could flash past my eyes, and I would possibly dismiss it as being a dream. There are pictures. The backs all feature a classic white fridge that probably still inhabits that apartment. and an abundance of plants spilling off the edge of any available surface. The rooms were littered with postcards and paintings, artwork that was unique to my mom and hardly eye-catching to my father. The entirety of my childhood is a mass flash of constant affection for my mom and a lack of memories with my father. I don't blame him for being a chef, for working dusk till dawn just to see his daughters while his eyes partly opened as she went to school. I didn't acknowledge the work he put forth for multiple years, but at the time I wrote it off as something every father did. Though he was gone most of the time, his abundance of culinary knowledge led to the best meals possible. I don't remember if our fridge spilled over with dozens of fresh produce or if we simply had stale bread and rotting avocados, but all I know is that I ate better than most small children. There are pictures, dozens of our front garden in Ohio Street, where we wore baggy cargo shorts and old t-shirts, and I personally chose my bare butt as being the best form of self-expression. We had barbecues in the summer with new roommates or renters each year, filing through young and younger, Filipino food and generic Americanized meats, cigarettes and an abundance of cheap beers, but I was always there as a form of core and balance amongst the adults. They would come to me and feed me bits of food as if I was a dog, and honestly, no one disregarded it since I was 3, and 3 is essentially the year where any sane person could safely say the child acts like a mutt. Thank you.
All right, that was great. That was great, Lucia. Okay. Hi, my name's Izzy Rodriguez. I'll be reading an excerpt from a script I wrote called Sea of Bloody Hearts. All right, let's get going. Sweat drips down a warm brown sugar forehead as the smell of chicken noodle soup fills the kitchen. Quincy Queenie Hearts has been here for hours, almost days, cooking pots upon pots of food, such as soups, meat dishes, and pies for the residents of the homeless shelter here in Barnsley.
Miss Hearts,
Queenie spins around at the call of her name and passes the ladle to one of the other chefs.
Yes, Tatiana? Also, you don't have to call me Miss Hearts. Queenie is just fine.
don't you want to go home? You've been here helping the cooks for the past 2 days. You don't even specialize in cooking, Miss Hearts. I thought you said you wanted research material for your new novel.
I'll get to that soon.
She grabs the tray holding bowls of soup and walks throughout the homeless shelter with Tatiana following close behind.
Right now, these people are hungry. You know my motto,
God.
Tatiana. No person goes hungry.
Yes, I know, Miss Hearts, but there is no need for you to do this. I'm sure you have other important things to do.
No need.
Okay. Natasha, that's your line.
I was waiting for her. She stops in her tracks.
Sorry. Okay, she stops in her tracks. She stops in her tracks, turning abruptly towards Tatiana with determination in her eyes.
Look around. I'm lucky enough to have grown up with food on my table and clothes on my back. These people, however, are not so lucky. If I can help in any way possible, even if I'm serving soup, then I'll do it. No person in Barnsley or anywhere in the world should have to live like this. It pains my heart to see them like this.
She rests her hands on her heart.
Everyone should have access to a bed, warm food, and love. That's what I'm trying to do.
She grabs 2 bowls of soup from the tray, placing them in front of the 2 children huddling in the corner. Hesitant to accept anything from anyone, the children glance up at the soup and then back at Queenie.
Don't worry, it's just chicken soup. Would you like some water? Juice?
She crouches down in front of the 2 children.
You don't have to be afraid. I just want to help.
A strong gust of wind blows through the shelter.
No, thank you.
Queenie stands up and walks towards the shelves to grab a black blanket. Walking back to the children, she drapes it over.
This should help. Don't forget to eat your soup. It'll help with that cold your sister has.
I don't have to. Achoo!
She sniffles, blowing her nose into a nearby napkin.
I don't have a cold.
Queenie laughs, pinching the girl's cheeks.
You're terrible at lying, but you're cute, so it makes up for it.
Tatiana scans around for the children's missing mother.
Where's your mom? She never leaves your side.
My sister dropped her bunny outside, so she went to go find it.
He takes a spoonful of soup into his mouth.
This is really good.
Thank you. It's my mother's recipe. Hey, when your mom gets back.
She unfolds a piece of paper that was tucked into her back pocket.
Give her this.
She passes the paper to the children.
It's a list of buildings I've rented out. You and your mom can live there for free, no strings attached. There's also a great school nearby this building.
She points to the third building on the list.
I think you would really like it there.
The children look up at Queenie with tears brimming their eyes.
Thank you, Miss Hartz. Really, you have no idea how much this will help us and Mom.
Of course.
She rises from her crouching position.
If there's anything you need.
Off screen, a loud voice of Sylvia Hartz booms.
Queenie! Auntie Sylvia? What a wonderful surprise!
Sylvia marches into the homeless shelter, grabbing Queenie by the wrist and pulling her outside.
I told you to be at the docks an hour ago. Don't you remember today is a big day for our family? You mean it's a big day for Mariana? Same difference.
She pushes Queenie into the limo, awaiting them outside.
Let's hit the road, driver. We got a boat to catch.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Amazing, Izzy. My name is Joelle Ryder, and I will be reading a snippet from my short story titled Thaw. Arthur had forgotten the sounds of spring. The low murmur of buses, no longer silenced by blanketed snow, distorted yells sliding through open windows, followed by drifts of meandering conversations. Ultimately, though, it is Abel's regular visits with the worn-out basketball hoop in the alley behind Arthur's apartment that signifies the end of the wretched Chicago winter. Before, when Abel tried, Arthur watched him trudge home with blue fingers and a trembling heart. Now, the fluorescent desk light that seeps from Arthur's open window creates eerie shadows, making Abel's late-night practices seem sinister. When Abel has finished a round of shots and missed everyone, he examines the ball, as though checking its roundness. Then he collapses against the brick wall, right below the hoop, so that he's centered perfectly in the picture in Arthur's window, legs in front of him, feet outstretched, arms around the ball pressed to his stomach. Arthur's window is closed, but he still hears the thud when Abel chucks the ball into the street. Arthur wants to get up and greet the familiar boy in the alley, to shove the ball back into his magnetic hold. But it is dark, and Abel is sagging against the brick wall. His neck is molding into his shoulders, and his eyebrows are furrowed, and his jaw is tight. It is only 8:20, but Arthur falls asleep at his desk. Notebooks askew all around him, comforted by Abel's closeness. The next morning, the neighbor's newly sprouted daffodils are the reminder of warmth still to come, and the basketball is wedged between the side of Arthur's apartment and a garbage can. When Arthur finds it, he wraps himself around it, all while praying the number 6 bus won't come for another few minutes. While he's pumping air into the ball, witnessing the springiness return, the bus comes and goes. At school, Abel sits with the same band of boys he has since last year. Arthur watches them for the first time in a long time. They're AV club members and compete with the robotics team and play D&D for fun. Abel is the only one of them on a sports team, but he fits in nonetheless. Occasionally, a girl from one of their clubs or classes will make an appearance, but they rarely stick. Arthur wants to go up to their table at lunch and drag Abel outside so that he can tell him that he moved to the house behind the basketball. He wants to tell Abel about his classes and to ask him about how the basketball season went, even though Arthur went to every game and knows how much Abel has improved. But he wants Abel to tell him. He's almost going to get up, a rush of adrenaline hitting him. But then some girl is at Abel's table and she's pulling out a board game. So instead, Arthur sits with a transfer kid from Florida and listens to her rant about the cold. Thank you very much.
That was awesome, Joelle. I'm Joie Brewington, and I'll be reading my piece, Stood Up. Stood Up. Naomi drummed her fingers nervously against the tabletop. It was 6:37. He was supposed to have been there at 6:30. It was okay, she reasoned with herself. It was only 7 minutes past. She couldn't expect everyone to be as perfectly punctual as herself. A waiter rushed past her, carrying plates of food. Oh, how delicious it smelled, so savory and hearty. Naomi had been too anxious to eat anything. Now she regretted not just forcing something down. Her stomach grumbled. 6:44. Okay, still only 14 minutes past. She reached underneath the table for her purse, rifling through the contents for her phone. She checked for a text or a call, any sort of notification. Yet there was nothing, just a glaringly bright screen. Another waiter rushed back, carrying a covered platter. He set it down in front of a couple, revealing an elaborately served meal. A tiny portion of seared steak, a pool of risotto topped with charred purple asparagus, and garnished with indiscernible sauces and herbs. The woman at the table clapped excitedly. 6:59. Had it already been another 15 minutes? Naomi was starting to get worried. What if something had happened to him? Maybe he'd been in a horrific car accident, or maybe he'd taken the subway and he'd been stabbed or pushed onto the tracks. He wouldn't have just stood her up like this. There was no way. Outside, a couple stumbled drunkenly, clutching at each other and laughing heartily. Naomi sighed. 7:15. She was just going to order food. She couldn't wait any longer. She flagged down the waiter. I'll have the penne alla vodka, please, she ordered glumly. At least a big bowl of creamy pasta would cheer her up. She tried dialing his number, but it went straight to voicemail. Hi, it's Naomi. I'm just wondering if you're okay. Maybe you forgot what day it is? You were supposed to have been here at 6:30 p.m., not a.m., obviously. I'm still here, so just show up as soon as you can, please. 7:36. Her pasta arrived, steaming and covered with a generous helping of Parmesan. She stared miserably at it before taking a bite. She frowned. It was delicious. This wasn't the first time she felt the sting of rejection, but it was nevertheless embarrassing. Was there something wrong with her? There had to be. She was a relatively shy person. Maybe she hadn't been forward enough. Or was she too forward and he thought she was clingy? The clock ticked. People filtered in and out of the restaurant. The stream of cars and people outside began to thin, and Naomi was still there. Finally, she got up to go to the bathroom. Locking herself in the stall, she stifled a sob, and she let the loneliness and humiliation swallow her up.
Fantastic, Schwa. That was amazing. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Henry Feller, and I'm going to be reading two poems from the chapbook, Letter to the Sky and The Moon is Trans. Letter to the Sky. I marvel at your innocent blue, awash on the nitrogenous shores of your single marble eye. Sprawled out over space, your body morphs with swirling water, accented in the whites and the grays. Even especially when you are angry, you are beautiful. Violet sheaths covering your electric blades. It is a shame you must go to war with yourself and lose. I am in love with your form, megalophobia melting, and I cry loudly at you, wishing to fall upwards into your arms. Great, and then here's my second poem, The Moon is Trans. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way she basks my skin in light, sculpting a heavenly body out of clay and making me the holiest thing in the water. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way her smile radiates off of the fish, their scales warmed by the reflection of her glistening teeth and painted lips. The moon is trans, and I know this because of the way she dances and the way she lets me dance with her. Flowing gown sewn by the asteroid and the tear, my dress of ocean, seafoam sash, and kelp corset. We silently, gracefully revel after dark and into her disappearance. The moon is trans, and I know this because of her beauty and my imagination, her love and my awe, both of us phasing in and out of the day. Thank you so much.
That was so great, Henry. Yes. Okay, my name is Daniela Morales, and I'll be reading my poem from the chapbook called On a Scale from 1 through 10. On a scale from 1 through 10. Tell me how you're feeling on a scale from 1 through 10. 1's the worst day of your life, 10's the best day of your life, but the numbers are there only for guidance. You can stray from the range. What are numbers if not for the value we place on them? What are numbers if not guides for us to make sense of the world? In this instance, they're your guides. For this moment, internalize them. The numbers will come in through your ears and swirled in your head, sent through your nerves until they permeate every centimeter of your being. A trail. Try to channel all the information they collected back into a single number spoken aloud. Inflect your voice in the right way. Use the right tone when you say it, so the people listening are the ones responsible for grasping the meaning. You've done all you can with the control you had of their perception of you. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Daniela. My name is Angeliki Vasalatos, and I'm going to be reading a few pieces, but they all go together, and they're all pretty short. Letters written in Greek, sent from Rutherford, New Jersey to Kalamata, Messenia, 1926. Your name slips neatly over mine, the way your Bible fits into my palm, and the way your expression slid onto my face at birth. We found the letters you saved. I wonder how it felt to receive them from a world away, only 25 and lonely in Messenia. They sit on my desk. I cannot yet read them or your Bible, but at least I can write you. Small gold medallion of Saint Spiridon on gold chain, 1959. Apprehension sits in my chest as it did yours. Strange to hold this relic of your homeland, though I never saw either body. We're in Chicago. There is no matching scratch from a banished disease. Did you know it's midnight? We're having dinner, you and my parents and sibling and I. Apprehension has not found a home in me yet. Partially filled journal with plush pink cover and silver lock, 2009. I too drink blackberry sage tea. I don't know if you are what I have made you into or if you are still yourself. You cannot be undiluted in my perception by now. Your Mount Athos Theotokos hangs above my iconostasis, and I will keep her with me come what may. Your blue-skirted doll is losing her hair. I don't know if you cared for poetry, but I do know our prose tastes align. I hope you would be proud of me. I've written to you since I was 6 years old, and nothing has been quite enough, nor will anything ever be. I will keep writing. Incomplete 6 by 6 inch square for baby blanket, knit and seed stitch with green cotton yarn, 2020. Consider this half-knit piece a partial prayer for us both, from a faithless adherent of the Theotokos. If you close your eyes tightly enough, the green is almost a supplication. Perhaps the seed stitch will grow into a half-forest. Perhaps the half-forest will shelter you. We both need shelter. Neither of us knows anything. Thank you.
That was great. I love those pieces. But hi everybody. My name is Esperanza, and I'm reading two different pieces. One is called Celestial Bodies, and the other is called Honesty. I'm sorry, I messed that one up. So this is the first one. Your eyes have a tint of gold so rare, holding the riches buried in the ground. A pool of glazed honey, the warmth of sun's kisses, soft and tender. A crisp ember igniting an indescribable feeling from your touch. Cut my face in your hands and gently brush it with your finger. Secure my insecurities, and in return, I'll admire yours. Gently glide your fingers across my glide my fingers across your believed imperfections, turning them to the soft etchings of your greatness imprinted in my mind. It won't be enough, as you'll watch him hesitate to open his heart to you, pushing you aside, thinking he is saving a love meant to be, but in the process, creating a mistake waiting to happen. He will fear the idea of calling you his, as the fear of losing what could be would overtake any oversensible action of his. He won't realize he's your star in secret to the moon. And this is the second piece called Honesty. How honest can you be when no one is watching? Will you allow others to take a glimpse into the warped perception and lie you call your life? Can you sleep with both eyes closed, knowing you have the inexplicable, endless void of disaster constantly consuming you? We get to sleep in our beds while you sleep in the dirt, suffocating you. Push through the dirt and spit through lies with the perfection you wish to hold. How honest can you be when no one is watching? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Espe. And thank you to all of our wonderful readers. And thank you to everyone who's watching. Now that you've heard some of the work from these writers, get the full story, you can pre-order Rising Shadows, that's our chapbook, from the Wicker Park Secret Agent Supply Company. Shout out to our Chicago-based artist, David Yo, who did the awesome dog portrait you can see here, for creating the Rising Shadows cover. And join us on June 10th for the book launch featuring a custom mix from DJ Cashera, a collaborative zine making project, and more readings from our writers.
Thank you, Josh. So my name is Natasha. I'm the manager of education at 826CHI. I co-facilitate Teen Writer Studio with Josh, my colleague here, along with all of these wonderful teens. A final round of applause to all of our readers this evening. We've had so much fun hyping each other in the chat and really just having a great time this evening and this year, really. So if you are a Chicago teen, if you are watching and you are tuning in and you're interested in joining Teen Writer Studio, applications will be out in the summer. We always send the applications to the library, so that's like a surefire way of how to access it, but always on our website as well. So feel free to check it out, www.826chi.org. Summer programs will be announced in June as well, so keep an eye out for those if you would like to be writing with us this summer. Also, if you want to learn more about 826CHI, our birthday is August 26th, and we call it 826 Day. And that is when our most recent compendium comes out. So this is a publication that is a compilation of the best writing from all 826 programs from the past 2 years. So it's a great way to see everything that 826 has to offer. So we hope to see you in our next events that we have upcoming. So again, always check out our website, follow us on social media. Thank you for everyone at ChiTeen Lit Fest for having us and hosting us. We really appreciate you all and have a great day. See ya.